Freedom always arrives disguised as relief. In the beginning, it feels like space, room to breathe, room to think, room to exist without obligation. I told myself I was choosing peace. I convinced myself that independence meant strength, that stepping away meant growth. And for a moment, it worked. The silence felt clean. The nights felt open. I mistook the lack of responsibility for emotional clarity. But freedom without grounding doesn't stay light forever. Slowly, subtly, the space began to echo. What once felt like openness turned into distance. Not distance from you, distance from stability, from rhythm, from something steady I didn't know I was leaning on. The absence didn't announce itself loudly. It crept in during quiet moments, late nights, unfiltered thoughts. Times when there was no distraction left to carry me. That's the part no one talks about. Freedom isn't weightless, it just delays the weight. And when it comes back, it comes heavier because now there's no one to help carry it. I realized that what I called feeling free was actually me escaping structure, escaping accountability, escaping the grounding presence that made life feel less chaotic. Absence teaches through contrast. Only when consistency is gone do you understand what it was holding together, the calm, the reassurance. The emotional regulation you didn't know was being shared. What I lost wasn't control, it was containment. And without it, emotions didn't disappear. They multiplied. Freedom didn't betray me. My misunderstanding of it did. I thought being unbound meant being unburdened. I didn't realize some connections don't restrict you, they stabilize you. And stability, once removed, leaves a weight that no amount of independence can offset. Comfort doesn't vanish when it's removed. It lingers. It echoes in moments you don't expect when something goes wrong, and there's no familiar voice to soften it. When something goes right, and there's no one steady enough to share it with. I used to think comfort was passive, something that simply existed in the background. I didn't see the effort behind it. The emotional presence, the quiet consistency. Your comfort wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't demand recognition. And that's why I underestimated it. I confused calm for neutrality. I mistook emotional safety for something replaceable. I didn't realize that comfort built slowly becomes invisible, not because it lacks value, but because it becomes foundational. Now, without it, I feel the reverberations, in situations that feel heavier than they should, in stress that lingers longer. In moments where reassurance used to arrive naturally, without asking, without explanation, comfort doesn't scream when it leaves. It leaves silence, and silence forces awareness. What echoes most isn't what you did, it's how you showed up. The emotional availability, the reliability, the way things felt more manageable simply because someone else was there, grounded. I didn't have to perform strength when comfort existed. I didn't have to carry everything alone. Echoes are reminders, not of loss alone, but of presence once taken for granted. And that's the part that hurts quietly. Not regret, not longing, awareness, the realization that some forms of support don't announce their value until they're gone. And by then, the echo is all that's left. I didn't realize how much emotional weight was being shared. Not fixed, not solved, shared. You didn't remove my burdens, you helped distribute them, and when you left, the weight didn't disappear. It consolidated. Everything came back to me at once. That's when responsibility stopped being theoretical. I had no buffer, no emotional margin, no one quietly holding space when I was overwhelmed. I had to sit with my emotions fully, no deflection, no handoff. And that's where the pain started, not because I was abandoned, but because I was exposed. Facing yourself without support is confronting. You see patterns you avoided, emotions you outsourced, reactions you softened because someone else was steady when you weren't. I realized how much I relied on emotional regulation I didn't consciously acknowledge, not dependency, interdependence. And losing that forces growth, but it also forces discomfort. This pain isn't about blame. It's about responsibility finally landing where it always belonged. I had to learn how to hold myself without leaning, how to sit with discomfort instead of sharing it, how to self-soothe instead of expecting balance to come from outside. Growth isn't gentle, it's honest. And honesty hurts when it arrives late. Without you, I didn't fall apart, I became aware, and awareness is heavier than ignorance. But it's also real. This pain didn't come from losing you. It came from meeting myself without the cushion you provided. Attention is easy to find. It's loud, immediate, disposable. It shows up fast and disappears faster. I mistook attention for value because it felt validating in the moment. Messages, interest, presence without depth. It all looked convincing until I needed something stable. Consistency doesn't compete for attention. It doesn't chase relevance, it just stays, and because it stays, it becomes quiet, predictable, almost invisible. I didn't realize how rare that was because rarity doesn't advertise itself. It reveals itself through absence. Anyone can be interested when it's convenient. Few remain present when it's ordinary. Fewer still when it's heavy. That's the difference I didn't understand until it was gone. Consistency isn't exciting, it's anchoring. And anchors only matter when the water gets rough. I'm not hurting because I want you back. I'm hurting because I finally understand what I walked away from. The difference between being seen and being held, between momentary validation and long-term stability, between noise and grounding. This pain isn't longing, it's recognition. And recognition comes with responsibility. To value consistency when it's present, to not confuse calm with lack, to understand that the rarest things in life don't demand attention, they earn it over time.